Hello everyone, and welcome to our weather update on the 2nd of January 2024. I nearly said 3. Right, so starting off with our satellite, we can see that this big swirl of clouds to our east currently over the UK is Storm Henk. It was named this morning by the UK Met Office because of the risk of a very strong swathe of winds between about Cornwall all the way through to East Anglia. And that was very last minute because yesterday the models were, some of them, going for a really nasty, potent core of winds, but most didn't. Only this morning, this morning, what's the time, that the models actually properly managed to pick up on that. And so therefore it was only this morning when it was named. We are now behind it. Storm Henk only brought rain to Ireland, although some quite heavy and persistent rain this morning, especially to the south and east. And behind it, we are into the showery run. And you can see that we are seeing some lightning in these showers, but the lightning is well offshore and should stay offshore overnight. But so you can see an area of showers coming in here. I wouldn't rule out the chance of this one being thundery here, this big one, but I doubt it. Most of the lightning appears to be in the southern ends of the showery bands. Here we're looking at the UKV 5-day forecast. So today we saw that rain clearing off, some showers behind it, especially in the west and southwest. Tonight we'll see some showers moving in to the west and southwest. Some uncertainty about how far inland they get. Tomorrow we will see a showery day with westerly winds. Showers heaviest and most frequent in the west and south, with a chance of hail and thunder. Now, into tomorrow nights, showers become more focused in the west and northwest instead, into Thursday morning. So Thursday again, showery day, but driest and sunniest in the south, and most showery up in the north. The showers by the end of Thursday are more focused in the southwest instead of the northwest by then. Now on Friday, we start to see a change to more of a northerly wind. So showers on Friday, less widespread for a time, before we see an area of showery rain move in towards Ulster and parts of Leinster by Friday night. And Saturday, we have a northerly wind down the country, so risk of showers down the east coast and generally cloudiest in the eastern half of the country. In the west, glorious sunshine, but quite cold. And into Sunday, we see a day. We start off foggy and frosty, but by 3 p.m, this chart shows fog inland, but towards the coast, it's very nice. It's gorgeous and sunny. So here is the temperature forecast from that UKV. So let's see with that. So tonight we see lowest temperatures again, mid single figures, and it's not going to be that severe until around Thursday nights. Well, Thursday morning, possibly some grass frost for a time in parts of the south, towards the very end of the night. Now, Thursday night, again, a risk of grass frost for a time in the east especially. Actually, even towards Saturday, not much frost doing for a time there. Now, it's Sunday morning when the frost risk comes back. So, it's foggy, probably not frosty, but around the fog, there's clear skies. So below freezing there with frost and clear skies. And Sunday, very cold Sunday, maybe about 2 and 6 degrees. Where fog lingers, it's going to be very, very cold on Sunday. But until Sunday, it's highest temperatures between about 5 and 8 degrees. Lowest temperatures about 2 to 5 degrees. And risk of localized grass frost. Here is the NAO observed forecasters. So we're currently neutral to very weakly negative with the North Atlantic Oscillation. It will collapse to quite strongly negative levels by the weekends and stay that way pretty much till mid-January. Yesterday we saw the ensemble was trending towards a less negative NAO, but this time it's pretty much staying just below -1 on the index. So, and tell you, that is actually very well reflected on the models. So starting off with our GFS, obviously, our GFS 12Z run. So over the weekend, we will see low pressure clearing away gradually through the week, should I say. And to our west, we see a ridge forming, courtesy of a bump in the isobars. This ridge is going to be a very important player in the weather. It'll either centre to our north, towards Scandinavia, and pull in an easterly on Monday and Tuesday, or it may just sit over us and bring cold, frosty, and foggy weather. The GFS goes for a more sort of centrally located approach next week. It's to our north, so a slight easterly drift, so cold and frosty and foggy with that. Possibly a couple of showers on the east coast. Then the high sits around, low battery. The high sits around next week before going into retrogression by the end of the week, and we see big blocking towards Greenland, very intense blocking there, and low to the south and east, and that pulls in a bitterly cold and wintry northerly wind. Obviously, this is like only one run, so therefore it can't be totally relied on. We will look at the ensembles for this, but after like January 13th, that is just cold, very, very cold. So the upper temperatures with that are like this. Let's see what we're doing. Yeah, so, January 13th to 14th, that comes to cold air, and it stays. It doesn't let up at all. Even till the very end of the run, it gets even colder, actually. Okay, so let's look at the ensemble graph with the GFS. Where are we now? Dublin. Right, so the GFS, the thick green line there, was definitely at the colder end of the range from about January 14th onwards here. That's when it went cold. So starting here, around January 4th, we're getting slightly cooler then. They're getting colder towards the weekend. Actually, they're quite convincingly cold, actually, for Dublin over the weekend and sort of next week in terms of upper temperatures. Beyond that, a slight bump in temperatures, but that's probably as the high centers over us, so it wouldn't be mild on the surface. It would be actually cold and frosty and foggy. Then they're lower again on average. I'm looking at the white line there, and that goes below average, quite cold actually. And obviously that thick green line, the GFS run, was a cold member. But yes, brief milder trend, mild as well here, but probably not mild actually on the surface. So from about January 6th on our GFS ensembles, it looks properly cold. Nothing that can be called miles on this run, apart from these ensembles up there. And obviously they can't be discounted, because cold weather in Ireland is gonna, it's gonna wobble. There will be like flips, and that probably results in it not coming in the end. I don't know, but like Christmas, we thought it would go cold. It didn't. Right. So here's the ECM. So again, through the week, we see showers, but they gradually get fewer and less heavy. Towards the weekend, again the high builds over us, perhaps a bit further northwards on the ECM, so more of an easterly drift. But even by Tuesday, the high is over us. Now, upper temperatures are technically quite mild there, but the high pressure is centrally located. It's very strong high, and it's coming from northwest, and therefore it will be a cold high, a clear high, a frosty and foggy high. But if it's sunny, it'd be glorious. That is some very nice weather for winter coming up there, if that's correct. And by Friday, we can start to see the high pressure moving out to our west of it, and we're seeing the northerly plunge forming to our north. So, like the GFS, it is taking the high to our west. But will it happen? Here is the UK Met run. Here we go. Okay. So again, through the week, low pressure just slowly starts to die away. So by the weekend, The high to our west is drifting to our northeast. And what happens? It's not going to load. Okay. The high is to our north slightly. So you get a slight, again, easterly drift next week. The high pressure is pretty much over us by Tuesday, though, so it's very frosty then. But here's a GEM run. Now, the GEM is interesting, especially at the weekends and only next week. So again, low pressure slowly dying off through the week into the weekend. Then the high pressure comes to our west, so we get our first cooler shot from the north over on Saturday. Then into Sunday, the high moves towards Scandinavia, properly towards Scandinavia then, and an easterly comes off. Obviously, this is the only run so far that actually has a proper strong easterly coming in, so that is not to be trusted at the minute. Then moving on, what happens then? The high pressure is over us, so upper temperatures get less cold, but that will be under frost and fog, so still quite cold on the surface. Blocking forms by Friday, January 12th. New trends on the walls. Late next week, high pressure could go towards Greenland and cause a big northerly plunge. And I think that is related to why the NAO index went, it trended more negative compared to yesterday. I think that's why. Upper temperatures show by day 10. Look at that big, very, very cold air. Obviously, if it comes off, this level of cold won't make it down to Ireland. But properly cold northerly wind. And it's January. It's the core of winter right now. So any wind from the northeast or the north, wherever, will be cold. It'll be cold. That's guaranteed. And especially since, Scandinavia, Russia, at least the west of Russia, and the Baltic Sea states have such a bitterly cold winter so far. And it's actually supposed to get worse. If you've watched my ECM forecast from yesterday, temperature anomalies this week, up to or below 10 degrees below average, perishing cold, absolutely severely frozen cold. So any wind from that direction will be cold. That's my points. So here is the icon run. Here's the icon. There we go. So the icon, again, similar story, very straightforward up until the weekend. Low pressure slowly dies away, but it's still showery. The weekend, the heights to our west, ridge towards our north. It ends up just to our northeast, so it's sort of an easterly drift again. On Monday, then the high pressure comes back over us, so that's frost and fog. With that, I'll show you, for example, the temperature forecast for midnight on Wednesday. Upper temperatures are mildish, not cold, but apart from to our east probably. But the temperature forecast for the surface, look at that. It's going to be a very severe frost. And here's the arpège run. So, by the way, that's called an inversion when it's cold on the surface but milder aloft. Here's the arpège. I was waiting for the ad to come up so I could just throw it away. So the arpège, unfortunately, this run doesn't get very far. So you can see showery tomorrow. Then Thursday is again showery, and it gets cooler on Thursday and Friday as the lows go eastwards. Then into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we see the heights rising to our east in the ends. Actually easterly briefly there on Saturday and Sunday morning, but I think that will be cut off as the high pressure comes down over us. So I think early in the week, most likely to be, we see an easterly drift, not an easterly wind, just a drift. To be cold and frosty. Then the middle part of the week, we see the high centering right over us, so very cold, frosty, foggy, but otherwise sunny. And then after that, possibly cold shot from the north. Possibly. It's very, very long way off. Thanks so much, everyone. I will see you tomorrow, and have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow.